Hello my love, and welcome back to the channel. And if you are new here, then welcome. I am Kay. I am an astrologer, numerologist and spiritual witch here on YouTube. So look, today I want to talk to you a little bit about this asteroid that we have in astrology called Chiron. And the way this video came about is divine timing, as Chiron is about to form a retrograde, and there is a separate video I did on that to let you know what's going on. It will be linked below, or it may just pop up here somewhere where I am speaking now. What about this asteroid? Why do we need to know about him? I always feel that not enough light is shed on him. In astrology, he is not a planet, he's an asteroid, and he will represent where someone is hurt the most in their birth chart, or it can show how they may potentially become hurt the most in their birth chart as they live out this life incarnation. Now, according to mythology, this asteroid was discovered or came about according to Greek mythology because he was the sign of Titan, Chiron'S, and Philaera. He was non-violent like his peers, you know. He was known for his wisdom and his knowledge. He wasn't someone to go out and do battle, but he was accidentally pierced, quote unquote, by Hercules. And when this happened, he was deeply wounded and he renounced his immortality. He then became a constellation in the sky, and hence in astrology, us astrologers now refer to him as the wound healer. Check the link below, because if you want to know more details about the history and mythology, it's all there for you. So how do we interpret him, and how do we understand him, and why is he so key in astrology, and why is he so key for you to understand him in your own chart? He can help you heal, clear any guilt, karma, negative energy that you may have or may feel as you've been walking through life at the moment. He can help you grow, he can highlight challenges, and he can show where and how you can become the best you in your own life. And the way to do that, the key is to interpret him by understanding the sign and the house of life in your chart. So let's take a look at a quick example. So here's a birth chart that I've pulled here. This is actually for the chart next week on the full moon. I'm just using this as an example. So if someone were to be born on the 13th of July 2022 on the full moon, this is what their Chiron would look like, and this is how they could potentially be the most hurt in life, or how we could interpret this chart. So if we look at the chart, we've got the sun and the moon circled, where we've got number 1. This gives us the full moon. We've got the sun at 21 degrees of Cancer. On the other side, on the left, we've got the moon at 21 degrees of Capricorn. Both these energies, opposite signs, same degree, full moon. If we drop down and look where we've got the third circle, we can see a symbol that looks a bit like a K or a key with a circle on and the red arrow. This is Chiron. So in this example, in this person's chart, we can see that Chiron is at 16 degrees of the sign Aries. So if we were looking at this chart or your own chart, the first question we would ask about this person is, well, what does Aries really represent? Aries is about forceful action. Aries is about putting the self first. Aries is about the first house in astrology, which is all about you, your wants, what you need, your appearance, and basically you. It's all about you. So this is the nature of Aries. The next thing we'd look at is, what house is this person's Chiron in, or your own Chiron if you're here for your own chart. And we can see in this example that this Chiron is placed in the 3rd house. What does that house represent in astrology? This is the next question you would ask yourself if you're looking at your own chart or any other chart that you're looking at. In this example, we're going to go with the 3rd. So we know that the 3rd house is to do with our thoughts, how we communicate. The 3rd house is to do with our early childhood experiences and our education at a very young level. So this would be things like kindergarten if you're in the USA, or primary school if you're in the UK or Europe. It's the education that we receive before we go off to college and universities. This is what this house represents. It also represents our neighborhood and where we live, and it also can contain our extended family, such as our aunts, our uncles, nieces, nephews, you know, people that are part of our family but not our immediate family. So what does this mean for this person who could be or would be, assuming that someone is going to be born next week on the 13th of July 2022 during the full moon? What could we say about this person? We could say, well, they may be wounded deeply when it comes to their childhood experiences, when it comes to how they think, when it comes to their level of communication. This could be someone who may be born, for example, say with a speech delay or a learning need, potentially because it's the house of learning and education. This could be someone who could be wounded with their extended family or need to go through healing with their extended family. What kind of problems may they have? That's when we can look at the sign and we can say, well, Aries is about the self and putting the self first. So this person may find it hard to put themselves first ahead of their family, or their self first ahead of other people. They could also have problems with putting themselves first or representing themselves when it comes to, you know, them being young, and in their childhood they may find it hard to assert themselves. So this is how we can kind of interpret someone's Chiron in the sign and in the house and what it may mean for them. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at what else is going on in this person's chart. Now, for this particular example, if we look to the left, we can see that there is a circle in green with an arrow. This is the planet Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of luck, fortune, prosperity, and he brings benevolent energy, and he will expand whatever he is touching. So he is forming a conjunction with Chiron, because Jupiter is at 8 degrees of Aries and you've got Chiron at 16 degrees. So they are conjunct. It's not a tight conjunction, you know, there's quite a few degrees between them, but it's still a conjunction nonetheless. Yeah, they're still together, they're still within that 8-degree orb. So we could say for this person potentially that if they were able to overcome any childhood wounds with not being able to assert themselves, any wounds with their school and education and learning, any wounds with extended family, any wounds with how they maybe think and perceive life, because this is the house of thoughts, this could bring them what? Maybe a touch of luck in their life. That is how they could potentially heal and become their best version of themselves. Now, this is a very, very brief example and very, very isolated. Like, I'm only focusing literally on Chiron and the planets that are, you know, really, really close, like in a conjunction. But if we were to study this chart in a bit more detail and see if Chiron is interacting with any of the other planets, whether this is, you know, positively or less positively, we can then kind of start to understand this person and how they may need to heal in life. And if this is your chart or you're here for yourself, you would take the same approach. Once you understand, you know, what Chiron is doing and what he represents, then you can kind of start to understand yourself. Now, I will give you a quick example. In my own chart, it was almost like Chiron set me free. When I first qualified as an astrologer, when I first looked at my own chart in detail, because, you know, that's what you do. You want to study yourself and get to know yourself before you start, you know, putting predictions on other people's lives. My Chiron is actually in an area of life that really did save me. My Chiron is actually up in my 9th house. So the 9th house covers things like, you know, astrology. It is the house of astrology, first of all. It's the house of spirituality, the higher self, being abroad, living abroad, situations, people, places and things at a distance, and foreign and new experiences. And believe it or not, before I even knew it or before I even qualified as an astrologer, those things actually did have a big impact on my life as part of my healing, and they still do. And to realize this as an astrologer, it blew my mind. So anybody here who is wondering, okay, what is my own area of life that, you know, Chiron is representing? What can I help? You know, what can he show me to help me move forward and become the best version of me? As I said, follow these steps below if you're familiar with your chart. If you're not, check the description box, check the links for Patreon, because I have posted up on Patreon at the time of this video going live a lot of detail about how to understand Chiron in every sign and Chiron in every house of life. So you will be able to see where your Chiron is and what it could and how you could personally interpret it for you. So finally, Where is your wound healer? Grab yourself a free birth chart. You can check the links in the description box. You can go up to my website. You can download your birth chart. And if you're not sure on your own time of birth, then again, check the links below, because there will be some details on how you can still grab yourself a birth chart. And look for Chiron in your chart. Look for him. Look for his symbol. What sign is he under? What house does he represent, or what house is he in? And then look at what else is going on in your chart. Then come back and tell me, where's your Chiron? Do you resonate with the message that he has for you? Have you overcome anything based on what your Chiron is showing you? And what do you basically feel now that you understand this part of yourself, or you understand this part of your chart? Or even if you're here simply someone who's watching this on YouTube and you now understand what Chiron is a bit more and how you can interpret him. If it's helped you, please let me know. Drop me a comment, give the video a like, and by all means do subscribe if you're new here. I would love to see you here again. So this is it, guys, a short quick 101 on the planet Chiron. I may come back and do more on this. I did just post a video on Chiron's movement because he is about to go retrograde, so that may just pop up here somewhere as I'm speaking, or it will be linked below. So have a wonderful day and enjoy the month, and I will catch you in the next video.